Hey guys, welcome back. The Robert Bob Ford Senior Talk Show. Man, I'm excited. I had some great guests on the last couple of weeks, and this week is even special. A dear friend of mine, a colleague from college, super awesome guy from Columbus, Mississippi, owns his own insurance company, and we're gonna talk about that, especially to our young people. Why should you get insurance? Great family man. His son just cut a record, man. We're gonna bring him on the show. But at this time, I wanna bring on my friend. Man, I can go to this guy, man. He knows my history, he knows my background. Phenomenal brother. At this time, Mr. Steve Fields. Come on up, big guy. Come on up. What's up, baby?
What's up, man?
All right. Tell our audience a little bit about you and what are you doing and D.I. Love. And
You told them, you know.
There's got to be a lot more than that. I know it is.
It is.
But we're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it.
Man, I love you, bro. Love you, bro. Been knowing you
long time.
35 years, bro.
35.
Yeah. Plus.
And, we got some more work to do. So I'm looking
Say that again.
We got some more work.
We got some more work.
It's not over.
It's not over.
We still vertical.
It's the beginning.
It's just the beginning.
It's something great.
It's just the beginning.
Yes.
We're looking forward to it. You gave a quick synopsis. I'm from Columbus, Mississippi. I have my own insurance agency, the Fields Agency. Been in business now for the last 24 years, but I've been in the insurance business for the last 35 years.
Long time.
So, been a great journey. Look forward to talking to you about it.
You play a little golf too, don't you?
Just a little bit.
I think we won a couple tournaments together too. Oh, yes, we did.
Don't tell them.
Yeah, we can't get that out. I'm sorry.
We do have a tournament coming up.
We do.
Some people may not,
may not want us to be involved. But at this time, guys, my friend from Columbus, Mississippi, Steve Fields. We'll be back shortly with the Robert Bob Ford Senior Talk Show.
The greatest impact we can have on the future is teaching our children to live healthy at home, at play, and at school. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi partners with our schools to support them in being places where our children learn about healthy habits and where they are empowered to achieve full academic potential. With the compassion of the Cross and the security of the Shield, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi is building a healthy Mississippi.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Robert Bob Ford Senior Talk Show with my special guest from Columbus, Mississippi, Jackson State University, D.I. Love.
Yes.
Awesome insurance agent, owner guys, don't get it twisted, owner. My friend, Mr. Steve Fields. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you, bro.
Yes.
Woo, we go back, man.
Like a
How far we
throwback.
go back? Golly.
Man.
82?
Do we want to tell
No,
them?
we don't want to do that. We
really
don't want to do
wanna tell
that.
them? You know,
because you look good, and I know I look good.
Right.
I look good.
They wouldn't believe it.
They wouldn't believe it. They wouldn't believe it.
But God has really blessed both of us.
Yes, He has.
You're talking about almost 40 years. Of,
I love this brother, man.
Love him.
I love this brother, man.
Yeah. The stories and the testimonies that you and I both have.
Yeah.
You know, a wise man told me, though, just talk to the people that listen.
That's
Talk to
very
the people
wise.
that listen.
That's very wise.
So,
I like that.
You know,
I like that quote.
When I share my stories, my testimony, I just talk to the people that listen.
Can you give a little bit about your background? You're growing up in Columbus.
Oh, man.
Why did you choose Jackson State University? And why you got in the insurance business?
Man, and I'll try to give it as quickly as I can, but growing up in Columbus, you know, I share this with my boys, my young men, especially. They asked me one day, they said, Dad, what was your dream growing up?
Wait a minute, say that word again.
What was your dream?
Oh, come on.
And I explained to them, I said,
somebody told me I just had a pipe dream.
Look,
A wish dream.
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Because
Steve.
if they don't understand your vision, yeah, it may sound like a pipe dream to them.
Right.
But they don't have your vision. He gave you the vision. He didn't give the vision to them. So to a lot of people, yeah, your dream may seem like a pipe dream. But growing up, I came from a single parent home. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 5 years old. My dad was an Air Force man, and so I wasn't raised by my father. And that's another testimony, but it's a great one. But I had a loving family, my mother, my grandmother, and my community. Had some great coaches and great teachers that helped me through the struggle that I didn't realize I was struggling. And so for me, my dream was just to get to college. And fortunately, my brother was here before me, and he came down on band scholarship, and actually I had some scholarships to go myself to other schools, but out of love, I had uncle, my mom, my aunt went to Alcorn. We always have a black sheep in the family.
It's okay. We're gonna look over that.
I'm sorry. But you know,
that's look for you, Auntie.
Yeah, and but you know, when the opportunity came, I chose to come to Jackson. And I had a great teacher too by the name of Mr. Baker. And I tell him this all the time: "You're my favorite teacher. You've been a great mentor to me." He was the only teacher, black man in our school, one of the few black men in our school growing up in high school that talked to me about college. And his pushing me and telling me more about Jackson State drove me to want to come. And as they say, the rest is history. And I came. The funny thing is, though, when I committed to come to Jackson State, my best friend wasn't planning on coming. And sometimes, you know, and I hadn't told this story.
Please tell it. Come on.
At all, never have. And he shared it in an article about himself years ago when the newspaper interviewed him. But when I got accepted and had everything, I was getting ready to go off to college, he wasn't planning on going to college at all. And during the leading up to a graduation, right after graduation, I made him fill out his application for college. Made him fill out his financial aid papers. I helped him fill out his dorm. Matter of fact, I requested him to be my roommate. And you know, I picked him up in my '76 Grand Prix, and me and him drove to Jackson together, and made him come to college. You know, both of us 17 years old, 18 years old, and he became a teacher, assistant principal, and retired a few years back as a principal. Did some work with Piney Woods, and he's doing some other great things now. But you know, he'll remind me now. He said, "Man," he said, "a friend like you that didn't want to leave me behind." And I said, "You know, God told me to just do it."
Perseverance.
Yeah. So, you know, what brought me here, you know, the road was being mapped out for me. I just didn't realize it. And then along the way, he told me, grab somebody and bring them with you. And not only changed his life, because he grew up in a similar circumstance like I did. Single parent household, rough, you know, and he was the oldest in his family. So a lot was on him. But we talk about that now and where we came from and how God has truly blessed us to walk in the walk that we're doing and to change our legacy moving forward. So
and you're doing it, brother.
Jackson State has instilled a lot in us, and that's why I'm such a big proponent of HBCUs. Of course, I'm a diehard Jacksonian. I bleed blue.
You're what?
Diehard.
Bam!
I bleed blue. You cut
D,
me.
I love.
D, I love. That's it.
Don't mess with me.
But I'll tell people, if you can't make the first choice, your best choice, then we'll take the second choice, as long as it's another HBCU.
Exactly.
You know, and that's the thing. We just have to keep encouraging one another as we go along, and don't hesitate. A lot of times we'll hesitate because we don't seem like we worthy of it. We don't seem like we have the ability. Well, he didn't say I need your ability. He said I need your availability. And so as we walk this walk and we keep moving forward, that's what, you know, you've been knowing me a long time. My words don't change.
No.
You know.
No.
And
you stick to your guns.
I stick to it. I mean, because it has brought me this far.
That's right.
You know, it's given me, you know, I tell people I'm just an old country boy from Columbus, Mississippi. When God opened up the doors for me, I wasn't afraid to walk through it.
And that's what we got to teach our young people, to be honest. This day and age, you know, our kids coming up in the inner city, man. I was telling Mr. Roger, you know, my cousin from St. Louis, man, I said, I'm from Mississippi. And we were driving downtown. I said, I love Jackson, Mississippi.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I told him that. I love Jackson. Yeah, we got some issues, we got some problems, but this is home. It's nothing like home.
Nothing like
I want to
it.
be.
Yeah.
I want to be like Dorothy, but Dorothy said nothing like home.
Click your heels and come on back.
Come on
home.
back. Come on back.
Interesting you say that.
But before we go to that topic,
Okay.
go with the wrapping me up.
We gotta go to commercial.
We gotta go to commercial.
Okay.
We gotta pay some bills. We gotta pay some bills, baby. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We are not done. I got my friend from Columbus, Mississippi, insurance guru, the I love Jackson State University, Mr. Steve Fields. Back on.
Suits are powerful. They say I'm here for a reason. Suits don't make the man or the woman, but they undeniably enhance who he or she is. Demand respect without saying a word. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's where you're going. Dress for where you're going. How we dress says to the world how we see ourselves. My passion is to give the world this feeling. We may not be able to change the world with a suit, but with the right suit, we can change how the world sees us.
Guys, welcome back to the Robert Bob Ford Sr. Talk Show. Man, I'm so excited to start off. Excited. Okay. Guys, welcome back to the Robert Bob Ford Sr. Talk Show. My special guest, I'm gonna keep saying it, all the way from the big city, the friendly city of Columbus, Mississippi.
C-City.
Mr. Steve Fields. My friend, been awesome. The first segment was really, really good.
Hey.
And I'm just a host. And my goal as a host to bring people like you as my special guest to share your testimony, to give us some nuggets that we can feed off of, and we can dissect, and we can go and convert that information and give it to someone else.
Well, that's what we've been charged to do.
Yes.
There's no reason for us to gather all the information and go through what you go through and don't share it.
Come on.
Why would you do that?
Right. It's
You know,
worthless.
As the earlier segment before we went to commercial, we was talking about where we came from and my upbringing.
Yes.
And as I sit here in the building that we're in, where we're filming at, my career in the insurance industry started in this building.
Right here?
Right here in this building.
Allstate?
Allstate,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
June 8, 1987.
Wow. Right out of college.
Yeah.
Right. Because you graduated.
1980. May of the next year.
Yeah, right.
But, you know, when I look around and I look at, you know, where I started and, you know, 35 years later, you know, what an opportunity.
35 years later.
You know, and the stories and the testimonies of where he took me. You know, when I started, like I said, I had no dreams of other than, Lord, just allow me to get to college.
Right.
That was my ultimate dream.
Bottom line.
You know, what do I want to be in life? What do I?
No idea.
You know, my parents grew up to go to school, get you a good job.
Right.
Okay, fine. Okay, step one. Step two. Okay, all right. So
is that the same thing you're telling your son, your kids?
well, a little bit, slightly different.
Because mom and dad wasn't bad back
No,
off of them. Because I tell people this day, Steve, if you can listen to old school music,
right,
you can follow old school ways.
yeah, wisdom.
Did we not talk about that, Mr. Roger?
Wisdom. You know, our parents and grandparents and elders and the people in our community, they taught you what they knew.
Yeah, right.
And that took you to a certain level. And as you experience different things, your job is to share that wisdom to take the next generation to another level.
Right.
Well, I was blessed and fortunate that Allstate gave me a career that allowed me at a young age. At 21 years old, my career started where I afforded the opportunity to travel all over the country. You You know, as a young black man back then.
Yeah, man, early, well, mid 80s.
That's you know, during that time, that was unheard of. But they saw enough in me and my abilities.
But you saw enough in yourself.
God saw it. And like I say, I tell
Somebody slammed the back door.
Yeah, God saw it. I always say, when the door opens, just don't be afraid to walk through it. And sometimes you're going to walk through it alone, but that's okay. He gave you the opportunity for a reason. And as I look back on it, I spent 11 years on the corporate side, had a chance to visit 48 out of the 50 states, went to a couple countries, just because of the career I had. And afforded me the ability to see all of the United States and understand how this world we live in and the United States we live in moves from political aspects, from religious aspects, from a racial aspect, from an economic aspect. And the day I was sitting in my office in Chicago at our corporate headquarters, and people ask me this all the time, what made you move back to Mississippi? I said, God. I said, because I could have went anywhere.
Could have went anywhere.
I said, you know, I have a dear, dear godfather that helped me in this industry as well. He was a long-term insurance agent for about 38 years, and he taught me a long time ago. He told me, he said, there's not many sharp black men in this company. He said, if you do well, the sky's the limit. And he wasn't wrong. And it afforded me that opportunity to see those things and experience those things that a lot of black men didn't see. And over the years, as I would see you coming and going and doing things, and I would always encourage you, because a lot of people wouldn't understand what your vision is, but because of—
Always encourage me, always lift me up, my spirit,
because
no matter what I was going through.
I understood because of how he was showing me. He's giving me an opportunity to see something different. Everybody's not going to understand it at the same time. Your job is just to keep moving. You know, and the Bible tells us that when they went out to survey the land, and he sent them out, he said, some came back and said, we can't handle this. We can't handle that.
No.
They big, they giants. But a few came back and said, oh,
let's go.
We can take this.
Let's go.
So there's always just going to be a few that understands that they can take on that vision.
And one thing about that vision, you know, you coming to me and lifting me up, you always did it in a very professional way. Hey, Bob, let me talk to you. Let me talk to you, bro.
Well, but that's what we have to do.
That's what we have to do.
We have to encourage one another, even when we fall, because failure breeds success. He knew you was going to fail.
Come on,
Steve
Fields.
He knew you was going to fall on your face.
Yes.
He knew you was going to make the wrong turn.
Exactly.
But he sent this person to be there when you fall. He sent this person to be there to lift you up. He sent this person to give you those encouraging words.
Come on.
And that's to motivate you to keep going and keep striving for more, keep doing for more. So as my journey kept going, I just, looked at the opportunity. I moved back to Mississippi and never looked back. I came back and people said, well, what drove you to want to do what you do now? I said, I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to educate us. I wanted to make us more literate when it comes to insurance, when it comes to financial literacy, when it comes to taking care of our families. You talk about the wisdom of our parents and grandparents.
Our forefathers,
They taught us to the level of what they could teach us and what they knew. We have grown
so
up
much more than our forefathers.
Right.
Before we go to commercial, I want to ask you a question. Your faith, your belief, religion, religion is religion, but your faith and your belief. I know you're at a great church.
Yes.
I know you're at a great church, and your pastor is awesome. Yeah. Talk about that just a little bit.
Well,
how that can
divine. Because when I moved back to Mississippi, when I was planning to move back, me and my wife were dating, and we started going to church together. Before I moved back, we had started making plans. We started counseling, and
before you get too deep, let's go to commercial. Hey guys, we're gonna go to a quick commercial. We're gonna talk about our faith and our belief in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Amen.
So that's who's keeping us here.
Amen.
Not on our will, but on His will.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So stay tuned. Mr. Phil got some great information he want to share with you guys. Love you guys. The Robert Bob Ford Sr. Talk Show. Be back shortly.
Circuits deliver power by making connections. At Entergy, we believe that works for people, too. The next generation is our connection to the future. So every year, Entergy invests millions of dollars in education to teach skills for better jobs, to build a brighter path. To us, making connections means more than electricity. It means fulfilling promise. And together, we power life. Entergy.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Robert Bob Ford Sr. Talk Show with my special guest, my friend from Columbus up north, northeast Mississippi.
City.
Yes, sir, Mr. Steve Field. Man, I'm talking about 2 segments that's been awesome.
Yes.
Because it's not about us. We're trying to get information to our young people, our community.
Yeah, right.
Man, it's just been amazing, you know, for us to tell our testimony,
Always.
our story.
Always. We have
Our
to.
story. We have to.
tell it.
Why hold it in?
We have to tell it.
So by saying all that, you know, our religion, man, our faith and our belief is the cornerstone of African American
It's our
history and life.
foundation.
It's our foundation.
Yeah.
Talk about your walk with your pastor, your congregation at New Jerusalem.
Well, before I even get to that, I would be amiss if I didn't acknowledge my grandmother, who instilled in me at a very early age my belief system and the faith in God, and truly to trust Him and get to know Him.
Right.
And as I went through my own trials and tribulation, being a young man, but as the years went on and my career expounded, and when I decided to move back to Jackson and open my office, it's funny, I knew Pastor Pickett before Pastor Pickett.
Right.
And but I came back, and another good friend of mine, he had invited us to come to his church.
Visit the church.
I didn't know it was Pastor Pickett
Right.
preaching. So when I did go, I was like, oh,
I know you.
I know you.
Right.
And of course, you know, we were friends before.
Right.
And so it was I always say it's by divine. And so I came back and started attending, doing giving. And I've always wanted, you know, been a giver. I always have, given up my time, talent, and treasure. So, and that's what the word teaches us.
Yes, it does.
So for me, you know, I just kept giving. And at the time when I came back, our church was only about 298 members at the time.
Wow.
So
It's big now.
we're not talking about where we are today.
The mega church,
You know,
right.
at the time he was still in the
Young
school
pastor,
system,
right.
and he was working in the school system and preaching.
Right.
So me being self-employed, I was one of the few people that was in the church who was able, time-wise, that we could spend the time together. And when he shared the vision that God gave him of where he wanted the church to go and what he wanted to do, in many days we would sit and ride and see things. We would go ride and see where the vision. When we moved over here on Raymond Road,
Right.
and got this location, and the visions that we would just take
He
out
is
ride. You
I know him personally. He's
Yeah.
a visionary. You know.
Visionary.
He sees stuff, man. That he don't just see it.
God gave
He
it
bring
to
to
him.
fruition.
You know, and for me, it was my job to just, you know what, God, you brought me back from Chicago. Me thinking, okay, it's for my business,
That
Well,
mind boy get you in trouble.
when I look back, I said, no, it wasn't for the business that I'm gonna give you. It was so you could do the work that I need you to do the work for my kingdom.
Wow.
And so as I started working in the church, and we started doing things, we started growing, as you well aware. You know, we go from 300 to 500 to 700 to 1,000.
And on up.
And the numbers kept going.
And on, go ahead, Pastor Pickett, do your thing,
Yeah.
baby.
And so, you know, I'll never forget the day we were sitting in church, and I'm sitting in the congregation, and I look up, and he's preaching and he's talking, and all of a sudden he just stopped and he asked me, Steve, can you come up here for a minute? And I was like, okay. My wife's sitting next to me. Well, what does he want with you? You know, you got to be ready for it.
You got to be ready.
So I came up, and you know, at that moment, because of all the work that he and I had been doing together, and the things that we were trying to do in the community to change the perception, to make men stronger in the word and the faith. And at that moment, that's when he made me the business manager for the church. And ever since that day, I've been working as the business manager for New Jerusalem. And as you well know, we have several campuses. You know, our north location on Old Canton Road, Alta-Woods location, our location.
Three campuses now?
3 campuses. And we're actually going back to Midtown.
Really?
We left, but we're going back. We got to keep touching the community. That's our job.
That's what Jesus did.
Yeah.
He went, he said, go and make disciples
of
all
men.
nations.
Of
all nations.
Yeah. So
not just Columbus, Mississippi.
No.
You don't stop there.
No. So I think
pick up some other people along the way.
And encourage them as you meet them, whatever walk you in.
I want to, before we close this out, 2 things I do want to ask. You know, I know you, man. I know you well. I know you love golf.
Yes, yeah.
How's the golf game right now?
It's getting better. It's getting better.
Okay.
You know, of course, going through what we've been going through.
COVID-19.
Haven't been able to get out as much as we normally do. But I'm getting back into it, swinging the clubs.
Okay,
you know.
we're still winning tournaments.
Still
winning tournaments. Let me leave it alone. Leave it alone. Here comes Steve here. Oh, give him the trophy.
Well, you know.
The other question I have for you, you know, just the way you brought up your kid, and you know my story with my son, you know. He just did a record deal.
Yes.
Talk about your son.
He is amazing, a gift from God. I tell him this all the time, that he really, really is a gift from God. God has blessed him with a tremendous gift. We've nurtured it. Me and his mom and my wife, we nurtured it. We continue to nurture it. He just dropped his first single. It's called Cosmos.
Okay.
It's out on all streaming platforms.
Okay.
iTunes, Spotify.
Say that platform again. Cosmos.
Kozmos. Really inspired song. Go get it. His name is Ryan Fields.
Okay.
Name of the song is Cosmos.
Okay.
Please go out and get it. We're back in the studio. The second single.
I want him on this show.
Definitely.
I want to bring him on the show.
Definitely. You got it.
By saying that, Steve, Mr. Fields.
Yes.
Mr. Insurance Guru.
Thank you.
I thank you so much.
Thank you, Bob.
I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I love you, bro.
It's been a pleasure.
I know I can talk to you man to man.
Always.
But it's been a blessing for you to come on my talk show, the Robert Bob Ford Senior Talk Show, with my friend, Mr. Steve Fields, all the way from Columbus, Mississippi.
C-City.
And D.I. Love.
D.I. Love.
State University. Love you guys. Stay tuned for big and better things. We're coming with God on our side. God bless.